Hi kiddos, this is Unit 5, Lesson 31, Day 2. We are in the textbook and working on page 328. You may pause the video while you turn to that page. Today we are going to be ordering shapes in a hierarchy. Remember that our last lesson went over the definition of a hierarchy, and it talks about ordering something in order from most to least general. It is trying to order it in such a way that one fits neatly inside of another, all the way down to the most specific. All right, so today the problem says use a tree diagram to classify the following quadrilaterals from the most general to most specific. And our shapes are parallelogram, rectangle, square, rhombus, and trapezoid. Arrange each branch from most general to most specific. In our Model It, says you can understand the problem by listing the properties of the quadrilateral sides and angles. So when we look at our lovely directions, it says in the chart below, A means the shape always has the property. S means the shape sometimes has the property. N means the shape never has the property. So these are things that we need to remember. A is always, S is sometimes, N is never. So as we look at our lovely chart here, we see that all of the shapes that were given to us to place in this hierarchy, all of them always have at least one set of parallel sides. Then when we go to two sets of parallel sides, we see that all but the trapezoid always have two sets of parallel sides, and the trapezoid sometimes does. And this continues throughout our chart until we get over to two acute angles, and then we have like rectangle and square that never has acute angles because they are only going to have 90-degree angles. And the best I can see, that is the only ones that never have anything with it. Okay, yes. So then we scroll on down to model it, and this is what a tree diagram looks like. So we have quadrilaterals. Quadrilateral means it has four sides. So now all of these have to be placed coming down through here. And we'll be actually doing that on the next page. So for example, we would have quadrilaterals, and then we would have on it, say if we were just going to describe it by this stuff up here, we would say at least one set of parallel sides, and then we would go to right here of two sets of parallel sides. And then of course our next ones wouldn't fit in these, but it would keep going down in such a way. So let's go to page 329. This is still yet in our lovely textbook. It says now you'll solve some of the problems from the previous page by using the chart to complete a tree diagram. It says, why is quadrilaterals in the top row of the tree diagram? Even though I'm not looking at you, I'm not in person with you, I expect you to be thinking and answering these questions so that you can check to see if you have an understanding of the question or not. Because you know I'm going to give you the answer. You know that I'm going to help you out, even though I'm not there. But I really need you answering so that you know, possibly your family knows, but mainly you. You are the important one in this. It's your education, it is your knowledge. I need you answering so that you can say, oh, I don't understand that. I may need to ask Ms. Fleming about that in a private message. If you have a problem with something, do not send it in, do not send me a message in the group chat. It gets lost. Send me a private message. Do not call me. Send me a private message because I'm usually making videos or something like that, and I will respond. I promise, I promise, I promise. All right, so why is quadrilaterals in the top row of the tree diagram? You could say that it is most general. It is the most general category. You could say that all of the others fit under it. You could say that it is least specific. That's the opposite way of saying most general, is that it is the least specific. Okay, so let's look at number 3 after you take notes on number 2. Look back at the chart from the first model it. Is a shape with more A entries more specific or more general than a shape with more S entries? As a 5th grade student, this question would have confused me because as an adult, it kind of confuses me too. I don't do well with questions like this, but what it's asking, let me see if I can help you with it. It is asking you that if a shape that has all A's, let's look back at that chart. If it has all A's, or sorry, a shape that has all A's, so let's see, coming across here, not a category, but a shape, such as a square. A square will always have at least one set of parallel sides. It always has two sets of parallel sides. It always has two sets of equal length sides. It always has four equal length sides. It always has at least one right angle and always has four right angles. It's never going to have two acute angles. Is that going to be more specific or is it least specific than a shape such as a parallelogram? That yes, it will always have one set of parallel sides. That's what makes it, parallelogram. With two sets of parallel sides. Its sides are parallel. But then we get into our sometimes. Sometimes they're equal length. Sometimes they may have a right angle. Sometimes they're going to have two acute angles. Sometimes it's going to have four right angles. So would that be is a parallelogram more specific or is it more general than a square? So let's look right here at number 3. So if it has more A entries, is it more specific or more general than a shape with more S's? It is more specific. I mean, they're telling you exactly what a shape has to have if it has all A's or more A's than S's. It's telling you it has these properties. It must have these things. So it's going to be more specific. Each A in the chart means that the shape always has that property. That means that there are fewer types of shapes that fit in that category. So more specific, there's fewer shapes that fit in that category. Then number 4, which category has the fewest A entries on the chart? So just look at the chart and which one has the fewest A's? And that would be a trapezoid. Then we have which has the most. And of course, we know that's a square. And then it says to fill in the tree diagram. And I did this for you so that you may take notes. So this here is not in your book, but I want you to add it because on the it's the quiz or the test one, I don't remember which one, they expect you to answer that. And that's not fair. So I want you to put that on there, please. Just above quadrilaterals, just make you another little box up there and write polygons. And then you have your quadrilaterals, which starts with what's in the book. Trapezoid, parallelogram, rectangle, and rhombus. They go in those two side by side, and then a square underneath it. Pause the video, fill in your chart, and then you may resume. All right, so now I'm down on number 6. How can you use a tree diagram to order figures? You place the most general category of shapes at the top and more specific subcategories beneath it. So you place the most general at the top, working down to the most specific at the bottom. And then I want you to pause and I want you to try number 7 on your own. So on number 7, you have the Venn diagram to the right labeled with quadrilaterals already. One thing that you can do here is this, above this, you may write polygons, just like you did in the chart before. And then right here with rectangles. At the end of it, you may also put slash rhombus so that you've got them both in there and it fits just right with the chart above so that it kind of goes in the same flow as you had before so that you can see it and compare it. All right, I hope you did well with this. If you have any questions, private message me so that I may help you, and I will see you soon. Miss you, kiddos.